Well, I'll be hornswoggled. Just as I was finishing up reviewing last month's HorrorPack movies, look what arrived in the mail. The timing could not have been better. Well, we're coming upon the end of March 2024. I almost said 2023 because this year is getting away from me and I don't even seem to remember what year it is. But that's neither here nor there because I've got some new horror movies. The HorrorPack for March of 2024 has just arrived in my mailbox. Actually, just as I was finishing up my review of the February HorrorPack, so I'm not sure if the term kismet applies to horror movies, but there you go. Anyway, in case you don't know, HorrorPack is a monthly horror movie subscription service. There used to be a DVD and a Blu-ray option. Now there's just the Blu-ray option. Every month they send us 4 horror Blu-rays, including 1 HorrorPack exclusive. And if you're new to this channel, here on this channel, I open those up live right to you on camera and discover at the very same moment as y'all do whatever's inside these wonderful monthly packages. So while we do that, let me just remind you, if you haven't been around this channel yet, be sure to like, share, subscribe, ring the notification bell, leave me some comments, all those things that help me grow my audience. Thank you, by the way, for watching, and thank you in advance for doing those things that help me feed the algorithm. If you're interested in any of these films, whatever they may be, and if you don't get HorrorPack for yourself, there will be purchase links down in the What's It for at least as many of them as I can find purchase links for, so you can get copies for yourself, which helps to get you some wonderful movies on physical media, which I think is still very important. It supports some filmmakers and it supports my work here on this channel. Other ways of supporting my work, you can find links to my books down in the What's It. You can go to polymathpress.com, in fact, where I will send you autographed copies of my books, and all of those things help me to be able to keep doing this as often as I possibly can for y'all. Presumably because you're here, you like what I'm doing for some unknown reason, but I enjoy doing it. And anyway, let's put the commercial messages to the side and get right to the movies, because that's what we're really here to talk about. We don't want to talk about my financial woes or YouTube algorithms. YouTube's algorithms, even for my inner mathematician, are boring. We want to talk about horror movies. So I've got the pack right here. Let's dig right in and see what I've got from the HorrorPack for March of 2024. And we will begin with a film entitled The Breach, which sounds familiar, but it's one of those titles, and in fact the cover art are such that I could be confusing it for something else. So I need to read the description a little bit more closely. I do notice on the front it says it's written by Nick Cutter, who I don't know much about as a screenwriter, but I've read his novels and I have been generally impressed, so that bodes well. Let's read the description, which says, "The horribly disfigured corpse of scientist Cole Parsons has washed up in a canoe, and it's up to small-town officer John Hawkins to head upriver to the victim's cabin and investigate. When John and his team arrive, they immediately start experiencing weird phenomena. Wasps everywhere." Oh God, wasps give me the jeebies. I like bees, but wasps are assholes. Anyway, carrying on, it says, "Hideous drawings all over the house, and a machine in the attic that appears to be a gateway to another dimension. However, all these discoveries pale in comparison when they come face to face with Cole Parsons, very much alive. But while he may look like Cole, there's an evil lurking within him that is spine-chilling. So now the team must get themselves out of this hell alive. That is, if Cole and his machine will let them." This is, in fact, now that I've read the description, not a film that I have seen, but it sounds right up my alley. We've got a lot of things, a lot of good things going for this film. There are people involved with this for whom I have a lot of respect, so that is a good sign. I like science fiction horror, which it sounds like this is. They may be overused, but especially when they're well done, I like alternate dimensions. I certainly like the idea of a machine hidden in the attic because, you know, people like me like to tinker. I might have, it may not be in my attic, it could be in my garage, in my shed, in my basement, but I might have some machines that y'all don't know about. We don't need to go into it, but that's an interesting plot line for people like me. And of course that there's wasps and things going on, that this machine and these alternate dimensions may be disturbing nature. All very interesting. The idea that the dead guy is apparently still alive, or perhaps an alternate dimensions version of him is still alive. All very interesting, all sounds very good, sounds right up my alley, and I am, as is usually the case with these HorrorPack movies, pretty excited to dive in and watch The Breach. Next, we have a film entitled The Last Victim. We have some cowboy hats on the cover, so this may be a horror western. I recognize, of course, some of the people, Ron Perlman, for example, who are in the film, but it's not one that I've seen. It's not one that I know anything about. So we see something on fire on the back, so fire's pretty cool. But let's read the description and see what we're in for. It says, in this stylized neo-western thriller, so I wasn't too far off with my assumption, a group of modern-day outlaws and their terrifying leader are pursued by a local sheriff, Ron Perlman, after committing a horrific crime in a desolate southwest town. When a professor and her husband cross paths with the criminals, everyone is drawn into a spiral of violence and retribution, where morality becomes ambiguous and survival is the only option. So it sounds like nothing supernatural going on here. It's a horror thriller where we have some violent people coming across some presumably innocent people who are just trying to go about their business, and seems like they're going to butt heads, and hopefully the good guys come out on top, but it is a horror movie. We never know quite what we're going to get. You know, we've seen this kind of thriller before, but as always, the devil's in the details when it comes down to whether it's going to be good and original. Even if the premise is familiar, the characters could be very original, the scenes can be very original, it could have great dialogue, those kinds of things. And those are going to be the things I'm looking for when I watch this. But once again, it sounds like something that I ought to enjoy, so I'm pleased with both of these offerings so far. Next and third from the March 2024 HorrorPack is Black Friday. This is the Bruce Campbell Black Friday. This one I have seen. I don't think I own a copy. I think I just saw it on the one of the rental streaming services, but I have seen it. I did enjoy it. For those of you who don't know, let me read the description off the back and then we can talk about it a little bit. Back cover says, "Don't let the holidays eat you alive. On Thanksgiving night, a group of disgruntled toy store employees begrudgingly arrive for work to open the store at midnight for the busiest shopping day of the year. Meanwhile, an alien parasite crashes to Earth in a meteor. This group of misfits, led by store manager Jonathan, Bruce Campbell, and longtime employee Kin, soon find themselves battling against hordes of holiday shoppers who have been turned into monstrous creatures hell-bent on a murderous rampage on Black Friday." All of which is to say, this is a film about essentially one of the Black Friday riots, but there's a supernatural alien excuse for the rioting rather than people just being schmucks. But I think, it's clearly satire of the kinds of stupid that we've seen on Black Friday. We've all seen those YouTube videos. This is a movie that's making fun of that. It's pretty good. It's got Bruce Campbell. You can't go wrong. As I said, I have seen it. I am going to withhold a full detailed review because I'm going to do my monthly review where I'm going to talk about all four of these after I've watched the others. So stay tuned for a detailed review at that time. I'm also going to re-watch this in the meantime to refresh my memory. But I can say it's a good one, so we're 2 for 3 in terms of ones I haven't seen yet, and 3 for 3 in terms of ones that are or sound good. But that brings us, of course, to the fourth, which must be the HorrorPack exclusive. I believe we're up to number 93. Yep, the spine says number 93. And this is a film entitled Craving. As is usually the case with these HorrorPack exclusives, there have been exceptions, but usually I know nothing about these films because they are exclusives. That doesn't mean they've never been seen anywhere else, but at least this edition is an exclusive, and frequently that means it's a lower budget or a limited release or something that's brand new and maybe played the festival circuit and this is a first Blu-ray release, something like that. I'm not sure which of those categories this one falls into, but for whatever reason, it's not one that I am familiar with. The cover does look pretty good. We got lots of teeth on the cover. Let's read the description and see what this one's actually all about. It says, a group of drug addicts are besieged by a group of mysterious figures inside a rural bar. As withdrawal starts to set in, the patrons, staff, and a group of armed invaders inside a rural bar must identify the bloodthirsty psycho among themselves before it's too late. Does not really tell me a whole lot. I'm guessing, based on the figure on the cover with teeth within teeth, that there is some kind of a monster. That could be entirely metaphorical, though. Based on the description, it could be a story just of human violence, but I'm thinking there's a monster in there somewhere. I'm just not sure exactly what kind of a monster. I will say there's a blurb, a quote of praise on the back that says, the sheer amount of splatter is just awe-inspiring, according to Midwest Film Journal. If that is indeed the case, that's pretty exciting. Not that I think every horror movie should be a splatter film. I love a quiet psychological horror movie. But sometimes you just want all-out, wild, crazy, over-the-top splatter film. It kind of sounds like that's where this one is going. Although perhaps with some psychological horror built in, because it hints that they're trying to figure out who among their own number is villainous, and that lends itself to deeper character-driven psychological horror, those kinds of things. So this may be something of a marriage of those two often separate horror subgenres, both of which I like, though, and I think they could work really well together. In fact, I know that they do sometimes work really well together in other films, so I'm looking forward to this one as well. Well, that does it. 4 brand new horror movies, one of which I have seen, 3 of which I have not seen, all 4 of which either are or sound quite good and intriguing. I'm always pretty happy with the HorrorPack offerings. There's every once in a while a film that doesn't do it for me, but overwhelmingly they're good to great. These sound like they're going to fit into those categories as well. So I am happy as a horror nerd that's happy about having gotten some movies. It's late and I'm tired and I'm not thinking of similes or metaphors, but I got some good stuff. Anyway, as I say, it is late, I am tired, and before I go to bed, I want to watch at least one of these, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Do be sure to do all those YouTube-y, likey, sharey, commenty, subscribe-y things to help me grow my audience. But most importantly, enjoy some horror movies. Check out the What's It if you're interested in these. Go to your local video store if you're lucky enough to still have one and pick out something fun that you've never seen before. Enjoy some good movies. And as always, take care and stay scared.